All right, you beautiful people. It is September 2021. We're taking a look back at what happened in August 2021 and where we sit in terms of the year-to-date sales and inventory in Ottawa. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. In August, we actually sold less properties than we did in 2020. But of course, we're comparing back to a 2020 that had a crazy busy time in both the summer and the fall. You can see versus last year, our average sale price is still up for the month of August by 10%. The inventory is, of course, higher than we saw last year. That's what we've been seeing, the trend of the inventory picking up this year. But when you compare it to July 2021, the inventory in August is actually less. So the inventory is lower. So pay attention to that as we move forward. We've got about 5 weeks worth of inventory, so still sitting in a seller's market. Year to date on the combined side, you can see we've sold 23.7 more homes. That number will get smaller as we're comparing ourselves to 2020 when we were really backloaded for the number of sales throughout the course of the year. The average price is still up by 25.4%. So it's still a huge increase in terms of average price when you compare to last year or the year before. Okay, the election call further stalled out our market when you're comparing it to last year. We've contended with the typical summer slowdown that we normally see in Ottawa. The stay-at-home orders that were issued in June sort of started our summer sooner. And of course, that qualification rate going up reduced people's buying power by about 4%. The expectation among most agents is that the market will pick up again slightly into the fall, a typical fall market. The problem is when you're comparing just against last year, it was such an anomaly that some of these numbers start to look different. If we break it down into two different sections, the first, of course, is always residential. In the month of August, we sold 25.1% less properties, but the average price of a property went up by 13.7%. So again, these numbers are kind of wonky because we're comparing to some really weird things that happened in 2020. You can see, of course, we've got 5.7% more properties available to buy at the end of August 2021 than we did in 2020. But we actually have less houses at the end of August than we had at the end of July. So the inventory numbers are starting to creep down a little bit, which is interesting to pay attention to. The sales, again, you can see we've got about 5 weeks worth of inventory. Still very much a seller's market. Year to date on the residential side, we've sold 22.1% more homes and the average price has gone up by 27.6%. So again, still huge numbers when you look at it overall. House prices, for sure, they've doubled over the last 3 years, but the average price is down by 10% from the peak of our market. When I looked at it, the average price, I think at the absolute peak in the springtime, probably in March, was about $671, and now it's at $605. That's a decrease of 10%. The bidding wars with those clean offers with $100K over list price have been rare this summer. We've been doing negotiating the old-fashioned way where you pick a price and you negotiate back and forth, and you have conditions. You fulfill your conditions during a conditional period. So negotiating is going to, choosing your right agent who knows how to negotiate is going to be really important moving forward. In terms of the condo market, again, we're down in terms of number of sales by 9.4%, but we're up on the average price of a condo by 5.9%. So this is sort of trending out to be what I was expecting when I did the El Predicto at the beginning of the year. Again, we're comparing to a 2020 that was just a crazy summer to make up for a really slow spring. 5.3% more inventory in terms of more properties available for sale. But again, if you look at July 2021, we're actually trending downwards in terms of month over month versus year over year. Okay, again, we're still in a heavy seller's market. 1.35 months of inventory. It's about, 40 days worth of inventory. We need to get to a point where we're at 3 or 4 months of inventory to even get to a balanced market. Year to date on the condo side, we're looking at approximately 28.9% more condos sold and an increase in average condo prices of 17.5%. So again, great numbers across the board as we're looking. Even though it looks like the market's going through a bit of a shift, we hit an absolute record-setting high point in the spring, and we're coming back down to a bit more normalcy. I think that's what everybody's wanted over the last 18 months is more normalcy. So that's what we're starting to see in our real estate market. The condo market historically is propped up by a choice in lifestyle or affordability issues with freeholds. And as the freeholds become more affordable, it puts a bit of downward pressure on the condo prices too. What that means is that as more people, they were sort of almost priced out of even a townhouse, the townhouses are starting to come back down to earth in terms of regular pricing. So people aren't forced into a condo. So it's putting a bit of downward pressure on the condo prices the same way as it was on the residential. So anyways, if you'd like to know how all of this affects you and your family when you're buying or selling or even investing in real estate, a lot of people are taking some money as some equity that they've built over the last 3 years if their house price have doubled, and they're using that to turn it into an investment. So if you're interested in doing that, my team and I would be happy to help. As always, feel free to reach out. The phone number is 613-314-3187. And until then, Sty Fire out.